My name is Rebecca Arm. I am the Document Delivery Coordinator for the Mason Square campus of George Mason University, and today I will be sharing my strategies for using book displays to promote resource sharing to your patrons. Mason Square is the Arlington, Virginia campus of George Mason University, with our main campus being located in Fairfax, Virginia. Mason Square Library serves a population of largely graduate students and faculty from the schools of public policy, peace and conflict studies, business and engineering, and computer science. Mason Square Library heavily relies on resource sharing for several reasons. One, we have a fairly small physical collection of around 20,000 books. Our collection has been downsized several times in the past decade because of space demands, with less frequently used items being sent to off-campus storage. Additionally, we have many users who are not affiliated with the departments represented in our collections, who use the library for the convenience of its proximity to their residence or just because they prefer a quieter space. These patrons appreciate the ability to request intercampus loans from our other locations. Two, because of space limitations and budget pressures, we are currently adding very few books to our physical collection, instead having pivoted to a digital-first strategy. These collection strategy changes have not gone unnoticed by patrons, who have voiced frustration about the age of our collection, the inability to physically view all materials on a topic in one place, and the perceived unfriendliness of online catalog browsing. As document delivery coordinator at Mason Square, it's part of my job to make sure patrons are aware of all the tools they have to access the resources they need. I assumed responsibility for displays at Mason Square in 2023. The library has built-in glass display cases on both of our floors, built into the staircase, as well as a freestanding glass vitrine by our entrance. When I took over displays, we had the same books on display for several years, as understaffing in the COVID-19 pandemic had dropped displays very low on our list of priorities. I volunteered to take on the duty because of my knowledge of the collections as a longstanding staff member and my academic background in museum studies, and because I sensed displays could both highlight our small but rich on-site collection, while also being a tool to inform patrons about all the other ways they can access resources. My first display strategy was to have a more frequently rotating display schedule than we have had in the past. Pulling 40 plus books from our collection, making sure they all have visually appealing covers, and setting them all up on display is labor intensive. Because of this, I tend to switch the larger display cases less frequently and refresh the small display cases by our door more frequently. I also use the tops of the waist-high part of our stacks to make a flip-through friendly extension of the displays in our glass cases. Calendar year observances were a natural jumping-off point, with display topics such as Earth Month, Women's History Month, and Black History Month providing the opportunity to take a cross-disciplinary look at what's in our stacks. I also like to do thematic displays, which can stay up for several months during a time when I'm working on other projects, such as Secret, Unusual, Obscure, and Arcane for a dark academia fall display, and Exploring Local History for a staycation-themed summer display. Creating these displays highlights the treasures to be found in our collection, but we also need a way to share the latest up-to-date materials with our patrons. For this, I turned to the use of QR codes as a way to showcase our extensive online resources. I created dummy covers with attached QR codes to represent topical ebooks in the collection, as seen in this picture from an AI-themed display. I also incorporate QR codes linking to specific databases or LibGuides when I'm creating display flyers. For a display in which my theme was Little Books, Big Ideas, I used the second QR sign on the slide to draw attention to our online access to the full collection of Oxford Very Short Introductions, a series that has historically been popular with our patrons. Having highlighted our physical and digital collections, my next goal was to promote our patrons' ability to borrow books from Mason's other campuses, from our Washington Research Libraries Consortium partners, and from libraries worldwide through ILL. When I'm working at the circulation desk, I always find it a gratifying moment to see the look on patrons' faces when they find out for the first time the wealth of resources they have access to using ILL. For the holiday season of 23 to 24, I decided to complement our end of semester de-stress events by creating a display of leisure reading. Cozy Up with a Good Book, which featured recommendations from my fellow staff. Mason Square has a very limited collection of fiction, so I ended up borrowing mostly books from our main campus library for this display. It was the perfect opportunity to create a placard telling patrons, if what you are looking for is not here, we can still get it for you. with a QR code linking to the interlibrary loan page on the George Mason Library's website. Since then, I always put out the placard when I put out displays. The culmination of all these strategies was to create a multi-campus digital display using Primo collections. This is an idea I got from a presentation by my consortium colleagues, Elizabeth Kuntz and Joshua McDonald of George Washington University at our 2024 annual meeting. Collections is a discovery feature in Primo that allows the ability to display resources in a visually appealing gallery format. I teamed up with my colleague, Lorena Jordan, who is the Policy, Government, and Civic Engagement Librarian, to create an election day display that would be both physically at Mason Square and Fenwick Libraries and also accessible online as a Primo collection. Lorena serves both graduate students at the Mason Square campus and undergraduates on the main campus. The Primo collection brought together books on display at Mason Square, books on display at Fenwick, and additional ebook resources. Each physical library had QR links to the digital collection, as well as links to Lorena's U.S. Elections LibGuide and voting information from Mason Votes. Patrons were able to see resources across multiple campuses, use intercampus loan to borrow them, and then dig deeper using our ebook collection. We will be repeating this strategy this month to tie in with Constitution Day and Voter Registration Day. Future directions I would like to take this project in include using trackable QR links to see if patrons are actually using the QR codes to access ebooks, LibGuides, and ILL page, more promotion of displays on social media, and further use of the Primo Collections feature. I would also like to bring in more guest recommenders, such as faculty or other departments, such as the Writing Center or the Center for Wellbeing. We have also recently switched to using Rapido for interlibrary loans, so I will be revamping my strategy for directing patrons to interlibrary loan services to promote the new process. I believe the three-pronged strategy I have used of rotating themed displays, incorporating QR codes, and creating digital displays incorporating both physical and e-resources is adaptable to almost any library, whether you are a single librarian wearing all the hats at your library or a resource sharing specialist looking to partner with library staff who already create displays in order to promote interlibrary loans to more users. One of the keys is knowing the strengths and weaknesses of your collection to help users find hidden gems that they didn't know the library had, and also empower them to seek out resources beyond the library's holdings. The end goal is for users to understand that while no library can physically hold every item patrons might want, that libraries today have a robust system of resource sharing that can help them on their quest for knowledge, no matter where the resource is located in the world. Thank you for attending my talk, and please fill out the post-session survey.